Now, I know that your book probably doesn't touch on this, but I am compelled to ask. Gotta mention AI. We're talking about content. Gotta talk about AI. It's kind of it's what you got to do in 2024. What are your thoughts? What are you seeing? What are your clients asking about? What are you doing?
I think my approach to AI is extremely pragmatic, and that's my approach to most things, if I'm honest. And pragmatic and some level of skepticism. I mean, I think that what we see is interesting. I'm seeing as many horror stories as I am success stories, which is not to say that there aren't success stories, but like when we look at somebody like a government client, they value stability and predictability, and that's not what AI is bringing to the table right now.
Hmm.
Where I do see a lot of potential is in taking care of some of the complexity that the web requires, um, without putting that complexity back on the content authors. So, for instance, like meta descriptions is a great example. Like it's so hard to explain to somebody who doesn't understand the web what a meta description is for and how to write one in a way that'd be successful.
Yeah.
And we struggle with it all the time. All they do is copy the first two sentences from their body text and paste it in there. And so to have something that could actually summarize the content of your page in a way that would be useful in that context without the author having to deal with it would be awesome. you know Alt text is another example, where if we could get something that was automated and trustworthy enough to take care of a lot of that. I'm not going to call it busy work because it's not busy work, it's very important, but the stuff that turns into a blocker for a less mature content author to deal with,
Yep.
but which is absolutely necessary for the modern web, I think that would be really, really helpful and useful. I was playing around today or just last week with a tool that generated summaries of PDFs that I was really interested in because, again, a lot of, like, when we look at like SLED clients, like state local education clients, they deal with a lot of PDFs, and um, and PDFs are not the greatest format, obviously, for a lot of things. They're not mobile friendly. They're often not very accessible, etc. And all of those clients are, facing, many of them have faced accessibility lawsuits in their past or their near future. And so, like, getting that stuff remediated is really important. And so, figuring out ways to sort of, bring AI to help deal with the PDF problem, I think is really interesting and something we've been thinking about. So, like, in the short term, those are the kinds of things that I see. I think another thing that we've talked about that would be really great, especially for government clients, is the ability to translate something that's bureaucratic ease into more plain language. I think would be really helpful. So I think all of those things are really interesting potential applications. Whether they're really there yet, I don't think so, but they are, like, these are things that are very on the ground, very useful, not pie in the sky stuff that I could see us getting to at some point in the nearest future.
I really love the applications of using summaries, using key takeaways, uh, being able to accelerate people's ability to create content and understand content, but not fundamentally create content. So, in like a lot of people, the sort of cliche go to about AI is, oh, it's a great like content creation partner, and it is like that. It absolutely is, and um, that's a lot of people's go to answer, and that's a valid answer. Uh, but it's very very dangerous to use that as the actual composition partner in creating content. Um, but I've attended a couple of AI conferences over the past few weeks, and unsurprisingly, these conferences are very marketing focused. So a lot of marketing agencies show up at these, and they're using them for client research. And one of the most interesting takeaways, and this is such a like a I don't know, this seems like such a like a dull fact to take away from something as interesting as AI. But the most interesting thing that stuck with me was that when it comes to prompt engineering, the ideal prompt length is 450 words. So get this. Uh, you use the AI to help you write the prompt.
Write your
to
prompts.
prompt the AI. It's so Inception. But it's true. Like that's actually what they're doing, and it's good, and it works. Like it's so weirdly like it's the snake eating its tail. It's so strange, but it really does work. But the levels of research they're able to suss out of this stuff, and the way that you communicate with an AI when you're dealing with prompts of that size is
Mm-hmm.
just so unusual. It's so and it's very human. It's as though you are talking with an intern or like a junior level researcher. You frame things from the perspective of hey, I pretend I'm this or pretend you're that, and I want these things in this format and drill into this thing and remember to search the internet and cite your sources and do this stuff, and like you really explain what you want to a pretty precise level of detail. And you of course have to check your facts, but they these marketing and advertising agencies use it to do background research on clients and industries and competitive analysis and things like that. And it shortens, according to them, it shortens the amount of time it takes to do that research, 5, 10 fold.